Welcome to the Black Script Storytellers. My name is Kevin Marable, and today we have with us the cast of the feature film For What It's Worth, which is a part of the BET Her, the Couch series, and can be streamed right now on BET Plus. How is everybody doing?
Blessed, man. Great.
Happy to be here,
Yep,
man. Thank you
good.
for having us.
Very good, very
Always
Yeah,
good.
good.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
you.
absolutely.
thank you.
Absolutely, gentlemen. Today we have an all-male cast. At least that's who's on this roundtable for today. If we can go around the room and I'll name each one of you. Tell us who you are and who your character is and what role you played in the film. Okay, and I'll start with you, Jared.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I am Jared Wolford, and I play Malik Worth in For What It's Worth.
All right, and next is Kevin.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Kevin Savage. I play Gerard Worth, and For What It's Worth.
All right, and then Jamel Howard.
Hey, I'm Jamel Howard. I play actually Quincy Howard, who's actually no relation to me. And I play a guy that is actually in love with one of the Worth's family members.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like how you put that, Jamal. You cleaned that up real good.
Yeah.
Say, hey, look. Very happy to be here, man. My name is Angelo Diaz, but for what it's worth, I am Dr. Noah Broadus, and I am actually Malik Worth's doctor. And for the rest, you got to tune in, man. Check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so this is the second feature film in the BET Her Presents the Couch series. Can you tell us what the film For What It's Worth is about? And this is for anybody. If you want to chime in on it, feel free.
It's basically a film, about a family of siblings, who are, they've all been adopted together, right? They're all siblings adopted together. And each sibling, has their tribulations, their trials, right? Their issues. It's a great film about just mental health. And, it's one of those films that you watch it, you can't help but to get something from it. And at the end, just to see how everything comes together and pieces together, it's just an amazing film that I think so many people can watch, can learn, and feel affected by.
Now, the film was written by LaJill Hunt. This is for anybody, can you tell me why is it important to have more stories like this?
And mental health, I think our community, and since we're all men on this phone, we can touch on that aspect specifically. But I think we're
Yeah,
very used to having our guard up, um, and not necessarily just coming from a pure place of like masculinity or macho-ish, but really coming from a place of, I think we as people were spiritual. So sometimes we don't even want to give energy to something that might be bothering us or something that might be holding us back or obstacle, because the more you speak on it, the more power you give it. So any one of these brothers on the phone can relate, but you could be having a terrible day, an awful day. And as soon as your people call you, like if Kevin called me, Jared called me, Jamel called me, and the usual salutation gonna go up. Yo, what's happening, bro? What's going on? I might
yeah,
think for a second, but my answer gonna be like, shit, I'm
The
good.
same
What's up with you?
thing.
Because most of us will be good. So we don't really
Yeah,
get
yeah,
to
yeah.
discuss these things. So these are the kind of pieces where we can actually sit and talk to each other. And ran into the Joe recently and was very excited to hear the impact that this film is having numbers wise and how many people have tuned in. Because this is the
yeah,
kind of conversation we want in our barbershops, our salons, our golf courses. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So kudos
Yep,
to
yep, yep.
LaJill, and this is a huge moment for her, and she took
mhm,
this moment between her relationship with BET, the network. Shout out to them, and it being LaJill's time. And she said she could have wrote anything. She could have been
yeah,
moved by God to write anything, but this is what was on her heart. So it was obviously for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yep,
yeah,
yep, yep.
absolutely.
And it's good that she touched on something that I didn't even think about the different classifications of going through these mental issues and psychological issues. And I didn't really know how to
Mhm.
classify those levels, like even something as simple as eating when you're stressed out. And that's another whole psychological thing. And so I think it's
Yeah,
good because it kind of just highlights the different levels of having these issues, and you know, and actually working through them and showing you how to work through them.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, there was definitely a lot of things that were tackled in this film. I watched it and I really enjoyed the film, and I thought it was overall a great story. But it tackles so many important issues, especially within our community, that I feel like are important to discuss and to talk about, and also to highlight and you know create a dialogue around. And in particular, like you guys mentioned, mental health. Um, Talk a little bit about why that's important for us to continue to focus on mental health in the Black community, as well as some of the other underlying issues that we face.
Man.
I'll let you go.
I mean, I think
Tough questions,
this
tough
it's
questions,
plenty.
guys.
I mean, not even it's tough, but I think it's just so many angles you can come from to answer that question. You know, if you want to look
Mhm.
at historically how people of color, Black people, people of African descent have been, disenfranchised, held back, not given equal opportunities. And
Mm,
then there was a time where probably some of our grandparents or parents, aunts, uncles didn't have, maybe the best way to go about healing from those experiences or venting. So I
mm,
think, being able to address mental health and explore solutions that people can use to overcome their stress or whatever mental health issue they might be dealing with is something that I think we want to see in media because it's relatable, right?
right,
And
right.
we have a lot of fun content in media, but we also need some things that will make when you watch it, it'll make you say, oh, "Let me call my brother, let me call my cousin, and let me call my best friend, and ask them how's your mental health? How you doing today?" So I think those are some reasons why it's important to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else have anything to share on that particular topic?
I mean, just piggybacking off of what my brother said. I mean, we're people who just have a lot of trauma. From our past, right? And
Mm,
there's a study that shows that trauma can actually be genetically passed down, right? And so
right, right.
just being able to understand it, recognize it, and to deal with it, right? Especially, we got our own when it comes to just us as a people, and just I think we deal with that, and there's still so much going on, red taping, and the prejudices that still exist.
Mhm,
So it's so important, especially for Black men, because when we were younger, right? I got a twin
mm,
sister, and whenever I fell, my grandmother would get up, tell me to get up, wipe myself off, I'm good, and so, but with my sister, it's like, no, she gets coddled, right? And so that's one of those things where, as men, Black men especially, we feel like, we just have to take on everything. And then we hoard everything and the issues that we have, and we keep it inside, and then that's why we die early, because we're not talking to anybody, we're not really speaking on what's bothering us, because we feel like it makes us weak. And so that's one of those things where we absolutely have to just get rid of that idea. We gotta kill that, because it's literally killing us. So yeah, that's why this film is so important.
yeah, that's for sure. So, if you guys don't mind, I know they're not on here, but let's talk a little bit about your castmates, Patrice Covington and Leslie Black. If you could, just drop some lines as to what it was like working with those two lovely ladies.
I think for me, just working with Patrice, and I say this all the time, she's so dope. I mean, her accomplishments are just amazing, and just to work with her and just to really play. She reminds me of my older sister. I tell her that all the time. So for me, it was easy, with her playing my sister. And then Leslie is she's dope too, right? And so I have three sisters. So having them on set was just like I was home, right? And just, seeing their level of talent and skill, and for us to just come in and play the way that we did, it was so natural, so just
Yeah,
easy. It wasn't even like really work, right? And I think
right.
that's oftentimes when that those moments are captured, that's what makes, the best television, right? The best experience when you're watching. You want to feel like it's home. You want to feel like you can relate to it. And so I think this film definitely depicts just family being together and
Mhm.
showing that energy. So yeah.
I agree with that. Like they both have a way of making everything feels so organic, super dope, talented actors, and they are like family like, and make it feel like this is homey. That's a spot on review of that whole situation for sure. And then
Yeah.
I had a kind of a love connection with one, so so but it was very comfortable, man, and we were bouncing things off each other, made it real realistic, ideas and the way to attack the thing, and it made it more realistic. But they are super talented people.
Right. Yeah.
Agreed.
I can say that just by watching the film as somebody from the outside, there was definitely a lot of chemistry there. It did feel very natural amongst all of you. You guys did feel like family, and it felt like I was a fly on the wall watching a family kind of go through the situations that you guys go through. But yeah, it was very natural. Even some of the witty comments, and the
Mhm.
responses from Patrice, it just reminded me of what it would sound like, if we were just having a conversation. It didn't seem too scripted at all. It felt natural, and you guys definitely did a good job on screen
Yeah.
for sure.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Mhm.
the ladies and the fellas, everybody came to play. Everybody had a game face on, but also, had a good time and chemistry was there. I feel like everybody's instrument was primed and ready to go, whether they need to cry or laugh or joke or, you know,
Yeah,
just improv or put things together. So it was a great experience.
Yeah,
it really was,
absolutely.
and it was refreshing.
For
Even with
sure.
the project being women led, like written by women, directed by
Yeah.
women, strong women in all positions of leadership, producers. So when we look to the cast, and of course we have our leading ladies, and just their repertoire. Like with Patrice, you're talking about somebody that came from Broadway, has extensive Broadway training, Emmy winner as part of an
Mhm.
ensemble cast, and then Leslie just having an
Yeah.
incredible moment, and then knowing Leslie from the Atlanta acting scene and knowing that she's someone that deserves this kind of light. You know what I mean? And especially with this
Yep.
Right.
this thing of ours, this this life of ours, this thing of ours, this journey of ours is very different. So we see people
Mhm.
compromise their integrity, compromise their lifestyle, their peace of mind to get ahead. And to know that Leslie is not someone like that, and to know that this was a cast full of people that took the long route, if you would, it was like
Yes.
validating in that way as well. And that was definitely led by
Amen.
the ladies for sure. Yeah, man, for real.
For sure. For sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
That's pretty dope. How long did it take for you all to film this project?
A few weeks.
Two, 3 weeks. Shout out to DC, man. Shout out to the DMV. We had a good time too.
Oh man.
Yeah.
For real.
So
Yeah, man.
everything was filmed in DC, on
Yeah.
location.
Mhm.
Oh,
Correct.
okay,
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
So now
okay.
you're
Yep. Yep.
approaching NDA territory pretty quickly. There. I don't even know. That's why it's getting quiet. I don't even know what I'm supposed to
Yep.
share and not share. But nah, it was
All
definitely
right,
It's
a
I
good
out
won't. I
shoot.
now.
won't.
Just
It's all
listen,
right.
it's
Right.
out now. He ain't asked about a part two or nothing. He talk about
And
he
I was
talk
Right.
about
just
what's
gonna,
out.
you
So
feel me? I said shout out to DC. We'll see y'all soon. Wait, what? Huh?
Shout-
that
For
sequel.
real, like filming in DC, it was just different, right? Like
Yeah.
as they call it, Chocolate City. Just to see, the film, world and just a different market, right? They're really, really coming up. I mean, shout out to Tristan Smallwood and just, other filmmakers who are doing some wonderful things. So, I always love coming, going to DC and having a good time and playing and see what it has to offer. So yeah, so it was dope.
Yeah, yeah, definitely the DC/DMV area has a lot to offer as far as talent is concerned, and there are a lot of up and coming filmmakers out here that are making waves within the industry, like you mentioned, Tressa Smallwood, Octet Productions,
Hmm.
Terrell Entertainment, and so many others. But uh, yeah, it's great to see more projects that focus on what's happening in our area,
Yep.
or at least showcase our area as the backdrop to the story. I
Mm.
feel that that's important.
Wait, so you
Now,
represent for the DMV, brother?
in today,
My bad. I
Sounds
didn't know
like it, right?
you.
I do.
Okay, all right. I didn't know
Yes,
that.
I do because this is where I'm from. I'm actually in Northern Virginia, about 30 minutes outside of DC.
Oh, okay.
Right.
My daughters
Yeah.
Yeah.
are out in Virginia.
Okay, what part of Virginia? Is it Northern Virginia?
Uh, yeah, in Hampton. Yep, yep,
Okay,
yep.
okay. That's a little more south, southern, but
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm
I'm
familiar
still.
with
Yeah.
Hampton.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. I don't know too
Yeah.
much about the whole Virginia, but
No, it's all good. All good. No worries.
yeah.
Um, Now, in today's climate of entertainment, there's been more reason to showcase and portray our culture in more of a positive light, especially for Black women. I love how you all stuck together and overcame adversity together. Even though there were sad moments in this film, the overall story is positive. And I love that angle, and also to be able to tell a story and also provide information within that. And you guys do that so well and brilliantly in this film, and it didn't feel like infomercially or anything like that. It felt like a real natural film. um
Right.
what were you guys' thoughts when you first received the script and you knew you were going to be a part of this project?
I'll go.
Good question.
So it's it's
Good
always it's
question.
always know, a blessing, right? To know that you're moving forward with your career and you continue to get like opportunities, right? So,
Hmm.
um, when I got the script, it was dope. My boy Lim called me, and it's so crazy because as your name gets out there, other people have you in mind, right? So this particular project, about three or four people were thinking about me, and they didn't know that each other, like they didn't know that they were thinking about each other on my behalf, right? And so it was so dope that everybody's calling me, "Yo, Kev, I got this, script for you," and then I get another call, "Yo, Kev, I got this script for you," and I'm like, "Wait a minute, like it's the same project, right?" And so that's always nice when other people are thinking about you and they see you in that role, right? Because it's one thing to audition and everything, but it's another thing when people just actually see you in that role, and they have faith that you can pull it off. And so, for me,
Right.
it was nice. It was nice to get those calls from multiple people about the same role, and just coming on to it. Like I said, I mean, I had not worked with Loretta before. That was my first time.
Okay.
So you always want to work with new people and kind of make new friends, sort of. So
Right.
yeah, it was just nice to just come on and just work somewhere different and outside Atlanta and come up and film and it was nice for me.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Jared, what about you, man?
Oh man, I think I can kind of share a similarity to Kevin. Like Lim had mentioned something, and I met Loretta on another project in Chicago. So it was just great to be considered. It's always a blessing to be able to work, and it's a super blessing to have something that's super
Mm.
meaningful. And I remember, I think our first day, Kevin, Angelo, Patrice, and Leslie. I think we were all like headed to set, and we were just talking about like how nice it's to have like a meaningful project, a project with a message, because sometimes in the journey of auditioning you kind of can categorize. You get these types of projects and these types of projects, and you don't really get something that might stretch your, not just you individually, but the messaging isn't more wholesome or more touching or has more depth. So it was great. It was great to see it come to fruition, because sometimes in life, you
Mhm.
can be
Right.
pulled into things or mentioned into things and they don't happen, which is understandable. But this one's special. Like it's special for a number of reasons, because I think many of us could probably agree we have so many advocates, above the line on this project, and I am familiar with all the gentlemen's work, and admire all these gentlemen as well. So, it's great. It's great to be a part of it and be able to read it.
Yeah, absolutely. Jamel, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, same for me. I got the call from Loretta, who I've worked with on a project that I wrote called "I Got Problems." That's on BET as well, and in
Okay.
Chicago, and she's like, you gotta read this role. I was like, okay, let me check it out. And once I, finally got my teeth in the script, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm in. And because the
Hmm.
layers of the character of Quincy, he comes off as like, kind of sneaky, with the relationship with
Yeah.
him and with his relationship, and he's really in love with the girl. So he's really in love with her. So it changes the dynamic of it because you really thinking like, all right, is this guy a dirtbag because he got a wife, but he's in love with somebody else, or is he just walking around with all his hearts on his sleeves? So it allowed me to be able to answer that, in good fashion, because that is a question that has
Hmm.
been on a lot of women's brain. Like, okay, if you love this person, how do you do that? And if you married,
Right.
how can you love somebody else? It's a simple answer to that. We are human beings, and nobody can really
Right.
explain love. It's just like, can you explain oxygen and breathing? And these are involuntary things that you got to breathe, and you're not really saying, hey, breathe, body. It's just involuntary. Blinking is involuntary. Heartbeat. So love is no different. So I it gave a different light on it, and gave me an opportunity to kind of like express that a little more, to where love is something that nobody can really uh, quantify, really, because it's different for every person. So I
Mhm.
like the character specifically because it allowed that. It kind of like, I was like, that's different. I'm gonna be looked at and I'm gonna be hated, but then they're gonna start to understand that that thing is deeper than that. So that's what drew me to the
Right.
character. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I love that answer, man. Angelo, what about you? Do you have anything that you want? Do you have anything that you
Man,
would like to add?
bro, I would just echo all those sentiments, bro. Like this has been the gift that keeps on giving, bro. Like as soon as I got the script, as soon as I heard about the story, shit, Jamel, you mentioned I got a story to tell, bro. I hope I ain't been distracting y'all with like moving around and having to go off camera. And you had just touched down the set while we were in the middle of this interview. I'm with some of the team from I Got a Story to Tell. Shout out to Smoot Films
Uh,
and Marcus Smoot and them. But this essentially kind of came from that as well. So, bro, it's been a lot. It's been powerful, a very powerful testimony in regards to the actors
Oh,
involved
I
in this
got
because
problems, you saying?
anytime some I got problems from some
Oh,
of
yeah,
that crew.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Oh no no no. I think some of
No,
them
no.
were involved, and I got a
That's
story
great.
to tell. Yeah,
Yeah,
copy. Okay,
I was
bet
on
bet
season
bet.
one, so too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bet. All right, copy. So you know Marcus and them.
So bit of love. Yeah, yeah. Smooth
Bet
all of
copy
them.
copy. That's love, man. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because we're talking about LaJill Hunt and the power and the fact that we get to share this testimony of we got this all star, this superhero LaJill, and writing characters with these people on mind on the phone. Like these characters were
right.
written with y'all's face and y'all's energy and y'all's soul attached to the concept of that character. There's a lot of power
Mhm.
in that. There's a lot of spirituality in that. And then even for me to be on this set now, and the reason I'm on this set is because I reconnected with Marcus Smoot VR Fashion Week. My one of my partners in crime, Frank Mill, he had approached Marcus and one of his partners in crime about, getting involved with the Fashion Week, being on the panels, trying to share some of his journey with people so that they can get inspired through our Fashion Week as well. And him and LaJill Hunt were on the same panel. Turns out LaJill Hunt was one of the people that gave him his first real opportunity. per his testimony. So I had
Mm.
no idea that any of that was even a thing until they saw each other and was like, "What the heck? What's up with you?" And that kind of energy, you know. So
Yeah.
it's been the gift that keeps on giving, and huge kudos to Jill, Loretta, Lem Collins, Loretta Wilson,
Mm.
Larissa Bates. I mean, all these people are people that fought for people on this phone. You know what I mean? Even with
Right.
LaJill writing with certain people in mind. And Courtney Arlette, huge shout out to our director, Courtney Arlette, who also fought for people on this phone. Um,
Hmm.
man, it's just the gift that keeps on giving. And I knew it was favored. I knew it was anointed and chosen. And then to get the set, and then we just start sharing stories and connected with each other. Why this is so prevalent, so important to us. I knew this was going to be fruitful from the beginning. I don't even want to
Right.
talk about being on set the same morning Harry Belafonte passed away, and getting a call from Courtney and LaJill and some of the team that was involved in another play called The Lorraine, which is based on the Lorraine Motel, and more so based on the people that were coming through the Lorraine Motel and the things that they were doing in the middle of that movement. And then for
Mm.
Harry Belafonte to pass away that very next day is when the news broke. I mean, I
Wow.
should have known better. As soon as I saw the script and felt the energy, I was like, "Oh, this one's touched," you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And Jared, you're also one of the co-producers of the film. Are you able to talk a little bit about what your role was as co-pro?
I mean, my role was like I was trying to help with some locations, just like some backup locations, and just trying to be a service as much as I could. And like now that we've been promoting, I've been trying to,
Hmm.
use some of my contacts to just find opportunities to, allow us to continue to get interviews or publications and press. Um, but that was also
Okay.
a nice like offer from the team, and I'm trying to just continue
Hmm.
to help move this ship forward, man. Because we all, like we said, we believe in this project. We believe it's necessary, and we want to see things like this on consistently. For years and
Yeah,
years, or
absolutely.
multiple
Right.
movies, or 7 seasons, 8 seasons. Because it's just too relatable, and that's what
Yeah.
the world needs. That's what the culture needs. And we set so many trends as Black people that why can't we set a trend to open up and be talking about mental health in a healthy way, and taking steps to better our relationships and our families, and just everything that we're surrounded with, because we're beautiful people overall, like Angelo's saying, like we're spiritual people, we're divine people, we're geniuses in our own right. And I think if we continue to
Mhm.
tap in to our mental health and be strong in that way, we're just going to continue to expand and bring others along with us. So
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I think it was mentioned a little bit earlier as some of the other producers that you guys have been involved with, but let's just talk a little bit about and give some praise to some of the team for this project. A Bold Move Media, Loretta Edwards Wilson, Christopher Nolan, Pat Stevens, Gregory Anderson, Lim Collins, Ronald Woodall, and of course you too, Jared. Yeah, talk a little bit about the amazing producers behind this project.
anybody else
Yeah,
want to go
man.
first?
All of what you mentioned, all powerful people. Um, you know, it's in my relationships with Loretta, Larissa, and the team, man. It's just been wonderful to actually connect with just good people. You know what I'm saying? And I make that a real like stake in a staple in my whole connection with people. The first thing I want to do before I even do any business is are the people good people, and then
Mm.
everything comes later, But I've been blessed to actually be aligned with just some good people, and those are great people. All of them, all of what you name are just good, genuinely good
Mhm.
people first, and that's why everything connected so organically um, for that fact alone. But yeah, man, all of what you name, man, everybody was just organically just good people, good-hearted people. And that's super important to making
Mhm.
things work and then making other things work in the future. As you can hear, a lot of people saying
Right.
they worked on something else and then it turned into this and then it turned into that. That's just an organic connection, and that'll keep happening, you know. And when people are who they say they are, and people have integrity, and people leading with love first, you know. So it's dope, man. It's dope, and all of them, all of which like I haven't met anybody that had ill intent or bad energy in any name that you just mentioned. So yeah, I gotta say that that's been
Right.
the blessing, you know.
Yeah. It's always good to have good people in your corner, and also that that you work
Yeah.
with on a day-to-day basis. No toxic energy.
Absolutely. No
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I mean, if I
oh, go
could,
ahead. I'm sorry.
I'll say like
Sure,
just to kind of
please.
piggyback, but like Jamel said, I mean, I think from Loretta to Larissa to Christopher Nolan to Gregory Anderson to Wink Woodall, to Courtney to LaJill. I mean, Lim, Marcus. I mean, everybody on the set. It was like family. You working with family, and of course, you got
Hmm.
your moments where you got to focus in, lock in, and do the job. But I mean, it's family, and these individuals. For me, it's like I probably have seen a lot of work that they've done and watched it, but hadn't worked with them yet. So I share Jamel's sentiment in that, like, you know, everybody is kind of accessible for like mentorship or guidance or questions or ideas,
Right.
and that's how I think all of us, our paths are different, but we're so grateful to be aligned with everyone that you mentioned because they've been doing it for a while. They have other experience before maybe making films or at other companies, and they have their
Hmm.
creativity, and they've blessed us to keep us in mind when it's a possible fit or when it is a fit, and that's a blessing because not everybody gets
Yeah.
that, especially in the journey as an artist. So I just wanted to chime in with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was my first time, with Courtney, and with Loretta, like I, stated before, and Larissa, actually seeing them, in the flesh and working with them. But Wink, I knew him prior to, this, production. I mean, he's such a cool cat. Wink, and just, Lim working with him on a few other, projects, just his, how hard he works. And he's always, you want to work with people who are selfless, right? And always are thinking about other people, right? And so he's one of those cats where he's going to put you in position to win. And so that's my dog. And, so, I mean, everybody, who've come together to make this happen, um, they did it from their hearts, right? And
Right.
so we were able to just, reflect their intentions on screen, right? And so I think that's, for me, that's like the best part about it. It can be your first time working with people, but if they have this like spirits, like the same spirit,
Right.
uh, and they, they're like you. It's like you worked with them before. And so,
Mhm.
even though it was my first time working with a lot of them, it wasn't because we all share that common goal, to win, to
Mhm.
make it happen. And so, yeah,
I want to add one thing that kind of that I found so interesting, and I don't know if all the other brothers can relate, but like when I first heard about the film, I think I heard about it from Lim, but I didn't see anything. Then I heard about it in Chicago, working with Christopher Nolan, and Larissa and Loretta were
Mhm.
there, and Loretta was telling me about it. And we were like chopping it up for like 10 minutes or 15 minutes about different things, but then she got on the story and I'm like, okay, this sound like a meaty story. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, cool, right? I'm like, okay.
Mhm.
And but as you're talking and then you're hearing like who's involved, and then I'm learning more about Malik, and I'm like, man,
Uh-oh.
LaJill
Did I
or
lose him?
Loretta or Lim. I'm like, man, so I think Oh, sorry,
Oh no,
man.
he's
I
back.
don't know what's going on. But all I'm trying to say is for the fellas and other actors that may watch this or artists that may watch this, like I think everyone here, I've seen enough of their work to know that they bring it every time.
Oh, I stopped
And
again.
and I think as you
Yeah.
continue to bring the best that you can to your work,
Mhm.
as you continue to bring the best that you can to your work, other people are going to see things in you that you may not see in yourself. Like I didn't see
Hmm.
myself playing a character like Malik and having to go through what Malik goes through. That wasn't even on like a radar of a stretch role that I wanted to attack. You know what I mean? So it's a
Yeah.
beauty for the like-minded, the like hearts that we have a part of this project above and below the line and in the cast and in the crew. And people sometimes just give you opportunities that are life-changing and that stretch you and bring other things out of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And you all played it well, man. Definitely played it well. It was an excellent movie. I encourage everybody who's watching or listening to definitely check it out on BET Plus. And I don't think you guys would be disappointed at all. Round of applause for everybody that was involved because this is definitely an amazing project, amazing film, and important subjects to tackle, for sure. Um, so lastly, I like to ask everybody, what's next? What do you have next? If there's anything that you can speak on, now's the time to feel free to speak on what you have going on next.
Creating, and I think in this day and age, as the talent, right, we have to learn how to pivot, right, and so I just want to create now. I want to see my dreams come true, in a different way, right, with the stories that create television, and two movies and one reality show, actually. So I'm excited about that. They tell actors stay away from reality, but woo, what I got cooking is pretty dope. It's pretty dope, and I
Okay.
think it'll help me. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now with it. So yeah.
Awesome, man. Let's go with Jamel.
Oh yes, yeah, a lot, man. I got a movie. First, I'm on a show called The Family Business. I got picked up for a few
Okay.
seasons. It looks
Yes.
like, yeah, yeah. So I'll be on there for a while. It's becoming real popular, um, and a
Yes.
lot of people. So me and David Banner and a couple other people, I'm on there with him. Family Business, New Orleans. Um,
Yes.
and then
Right.
I wrote a couple of projects. One I'm working on is about a female fighter that I wrote a show which looks like it might be getting picked up very soon. And then I'm working on a sci-fi, which Kev know about this one. My sci-fi, the werewolf, the vampire joint. So that's gonna be pretty dope. And I'm shopping that. I can't really dig too much in that because now, it's being picked apart right now. So by the
Right.
network. So that part and man, a lot, man. I'm um, also working with some stuff that's gonna end up in the 50 camp. 50 have a new studio, and he's a
Right.
good friend of mine. So I got something going on in that direction. But currently shooting right now. Look out for that.
Mm.
The Family Business and Bid for Love 2. That's on BET as well.
Bid for love.
Which
Okay.
Bid for Love 1 is on BET. Bid for Love 2 is probably going to land on BET as well, but I just finished shooting that. And then the last thing is the Andre Rison life story. Andre Rison and Left Eye. I play Andre
Wow.
Rison, and it's actually number one of sports movies on Tubi, and it's in the top category on Prime right now, on Amazon Prime. So
Okay.
that's me in a
Yeah.
nutshell on that
Yeah. I
grind, on the
definitely have to
grind.
check those. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check those
Yeah.
projects out, man. Sounds interesting. What
Right.
about you, Jerry?
Mr.
Oh man,
Despair. Whew.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Yeah, man. So we got another. I have another film. I was grateful to be working with Denise Boutie, um, John Avery. Man, I'm name is escaping me, but Jennifer Pasimas produced the film along with Jean Pierre Chapoteau called The Despair. It's a horror film, so it's
Wow.
it's a very interesting film, fun project to be a part of. So that premiering on BT Plus. I'm currently shooting
Mhm.
a project for like Lifetime. It's probably gonna land on Lifetime, so that's been fun. That's been fun. Getting to stretch there as well, working with some new faces. So I'm grateful for that. Also, I'm flexing my writing muscles. So I have a
Okay.
friend in New York named Derek that I write with, and so we have we have a comedy. Probably just be a single cam comedy, and so we're constantly rewriting and polishing that up. And then
Mhm.
we have a period piece. It's set
Mhm.
in New York in like the 1960s. Can't say too much about it, but
Yeah.
it's a period piece. It's got some unique elements and characters. I'm talking about we're blending in the Black Panther Party. We're blending in a
Mhm.
lot of the street life. Um, we getting close to maybe getting some funding to maybe produce something like actually produce a pilot or go further than that. So, but in the meantime, we're just writing and updating and trying to get ahead of whatever the potential schedule will be. And man, when I'm not doing that, I'm auditioning. Just still auditioning,
Yeah.
still putting in work, and just taking it easy, enjoying the fam, and praying and staying faithful and seeing what's next.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's great to see a group of black men doing big things, man. That this is awesome. This is awesome for sure. I
Absolutely.
truly appreciate everyone's time. Thank you so much for talking about the project for what it's worth, and also sharing some of the upcoming projects that you all have, and just taking the time out of your day to promote this project and to talk a little bit about it and share some information on it. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for giving me your time. And with that being said, the cast of For What It's Worth, people.
Thank you,
Sir.
Kevin.
Peace
Thank
out.
you for having
Sir,
us,
yes,
man.
sir.
Thanks for giving us some of your time as well.